Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now let's start with the first story. It's called Quiet Game. I work in a pharmacy as a pharmacy technician alongside my friend. We were chatting while filling prescriptions. Nothing loud or disruptive, just swapping notes about our upcoming semester and class schedules. There were no patients around, and the rest of our co-workers didn't seem to mind at all. Everything was normal, until it wasn't. Out of nowhere, one of the older lead techs, let's call her Debbie Downer, suddenly barks loud enough for the back wall to hear. Let's play the quiet game with just you two, and see who can go without talking for 25 minutes. It was rude, condescending, and completely unnecessary. The entire room went quiet, but not the kind of quiet she probably wanted. It was the awkward kind, the kind that happens when someone just destroys the vibe for no reason. So I decided to play her little game. Cue Malicious Compliance. I didn't talk, not just for 25 minutes, not just until the end of the day. I decided to adopt a new rule, just for her. I don't speak to Debbie unless she speaks to me first, and only if it's work related. No pleasantries, no chit chat, no have a good night when I clock out. Not even a nod. She hates it. She keeps trying to casually chat. I respond with, "Is this about work?" Then go right back to what I was doing. She even tried to talk to me outside of work hours. But here's the thing. She's always ranting about how we shouldn't fraternize with people higher up outside of work. She's a lead tech. So now I don't. I take her rules very seriously. I am doing this because this woman has a long-standing reputation for being harsh, rude, and unapologetic. Nobody ever calls her out on it. So I decided to give her exactly what she asked for. Absolute silence, delivered with professional precision. It's kind of fun. She's visibly annoyed, and I am living my best quiet little life. The next story is called Casino Mistake. A few casinos ago we had a progressive jackpot option across all our games. The idea was simple. Put $5 on the progressive, and you were in for a chance at the big prize. When we opened a new ultra high limit room, the executives wanted a version that matched the clientele. 25 for the progressive instead of 5. Well, the bigwigs wanted to handle it themselves. They designed the pay table from scratch, without consulting anyone who, actually does math for a living. One of our dealers, a sharp guy who regularly ran numbers in his head, noticed something odd. He sat down, did the math, and came to a wild realization. The game was expected value positive, as in, if you had enough time and bankroll, it was a guaranteed win. You didn't need to hit the top jackpot. The payouts lower on the table were generous enough and the math worked. The risk of ruin was ridiculously low. He took this to management. He explained it. He warned them. And management dismissed him without a second thought. Since they wouldn't fix it, he decided not to waste the opportunity. He brought in his wife and his mother. Two people who had zero background in high-stakes gambling. And that was totally fine. Just follow the plan, play the game, let the math do the work. And so they did, for months. They played the high-limit version, slowly grinding out a steady $50 per hour profit. They racked up comms, enjoyed high roller service, and got treated like VIPs. They never even hit the jackpot. They didn't need to. By the time they realized the mistake, the damage was done. His family walked away well fed, well calmed, and richer than ever. All because management ignored the dealer who actually understood the odds. The third story is called Health and Safety. I used to work for the local church as a groundskeeper, with the usual mix of maintenance and odd jobs. One of those odd jobs was vacuuming and sweeping the upstairs area. Not a huge deal, except the staircase was ancient. Uneven stone steps, worn edges, and a heavy vacuum, strapped to your back like a hiking pack. Add in a cleaning bucket and brush and it became a balancing act. Not long after starting, I noticed the thick rope handrail was loose in several places. In fact, some of the brackets holding it in place would pop right out of the wall if you leaned on them wrong. I reported it and was casually told, "Oh, the council's known about that for 3 years." That annoyed me. If someone slipped while carrying gear, me, or if a tourist leaned on it and fell down the stairs, which were open to the public, it would be a serious injury waiting to happen. So I said, I'm marking today's date, and if anyone gets hurt, I'll report it directly to health and safety. I also told my manager I wouldn't be using the stairs again until it was fixed. She was surprised, but said she'd raise it with the council. Sure enough, when they next asked me to clean up there, I refused. Weirdly, the handrail got fixed within the month. A few months later, I got called in for a meeting with the council's employee liaison. I was told my job was safe. A second meeting was scheduled a month later. And, surprise surprise, we are laying you off at the end of the year. Mind you, it was August. Anyway, after being told I was both unemployable and being let go, I figured it was time to embrace the council's own wisdom. You don't have to work in the rain. Oh, really? There had always been this running joke that we didn't have to work in the rain. I'd asked for proper workwear and rain gear for a year, with no luck. Not that I cared too much, since I had some of my own. But now, I cared. If it even drizzled, I went inside. If the rain stopped, I'd come back out. If it started again, right back inside. My coworkers were totally supportive. They knew exactly what was going on. As autumn rolled in, I did less and less work. By October, I had built up enough leave to book the rest of the year off. So that's what I did. In the end, I won a court case against them. The next story is called Confetti. My city launched a brand new race program a while ago. You had to use an official trash bin, and a shiny new recycling bin would be provided too. With the bins came a list of rules and requirements, and one in particular stood out. All paper products must be placed loose into the recycling bin. No bags, not even for shredded paper. Cue collective raised eyebrows from my roommates and me. Loose shredded paper? Really? We all agreed it sounded dumb. But then the yearly phone books started showing up. Those thick tomes no one asked for and no one used. And that's when inspiration struck. We started gathering up as many phone books and paper products as we could get our hands on. It took us a few weeks and at least one shredder died for the cause. But we eventually had 4 full 30-gallon trash bags of finally cross-cut confetti-style shredded paper. And because we are rule followers, of course, we lovingly dumped the entire collection loose into our recycling bin. Filled to the brim, even packed it down a bit to make it fit. Sadly, I worked nights at the time, so I missed the actual pickup. But when I woke up, there were shreds everywhere. The curb, the road, the neighbor's lawn. Our driveway looked like a ticker tape parade had rolled through. I can only imagine the scene when the truck's mechanical arm dumped the bin and released thousands of static charged bits of paper into the wind. Apparently we weren't the only ones who had this brilliant idea, because just a few weeks later the city sent out an updated rule sheet. All shredded paper must now be bagged in clear plastic before placing it in the recycling bin. Guess they didn't see that coming. The last story is called Wrong Price. This happened while I was working in the meat department at a grocery store. A customer, let's call him John, had ordered a whole ham that was sitting untagged in the back cooler. I bring it out, weigh it, and it rings up to 46.31. John takes it, then asks if I can cut it in half. Sure, why not? Then he throws in, "Oh, could you trim it off the bone?" Now, that's a completely different cut, and also a different price tier. Not to mention something I'm not allowed to do. In the shuffle, I forget to tag the original price before tossing the old ticket. No big deal. Until John hits me with this. "Well, I'm sorry you're such an idiot and can't figure out how to cut a ham. When does the butcher get here?" I calmly say 7 AM, and he leaves with the ham. But not for long. Shortly after, I get a call from the cashier. "Hey, what's the price on that ham?" Still a bit flustered and dyslexic under pressure, I say, 31.46. "Really?" Me thinking he means, wow, that's cheap. Yep. But then I hear it. The unmistakable grumbling of a bitter old man in the background. Turns out John doesn't like the price either, because he thinks it's too high. He wants you to change the price. Sure, I say. Tell him I'll be happy to fix it. And he can come back with the ham and watch me do it. So Old Man River strolls back into the meat department, ham in hand, looking like Little Red Riding Hood bringing Grandma a bone and protein bomb. His expectations was that I'm going to cave and slash the price. Not gonna happen. I weigh it again, narrating the process. Alright, whole ham, farmer's cut, not spiral sliced. $2.49 a pound. Beep beep. Final total $46.31. Same as before. Display facing him. Tag printed. I see the problem. My bad, sir. My dyslexia kicked in. It's $46.31, not $31.46. Thanks for coming back so we could make sure it's correct. The audible sigh he let out could have been powered Monstropolis for a week. I basked in the passive-aggressive sunshine for the rest of my shift. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.